All right, everybody. Logan Allec here with another tax software review. I actually had not heard of this tax software before today. What tax software am I talking about? You probably already know if you saw the title to this video, but I'm talking about OLT. OLT.com. OLT stands for online, see the O and the L, online taxes. So onlinetaxes.com, OLT.com. I actually heard about this tax software from YouTube. Another channel that does tax software reviews was reviewing this OLT.com, and they absolutely slammed it. Like right off the bat, they were like, this is like terrible. It's like the worst thing ever. The user interface sucks. So I was curious. What can I say? So I'm going to try it out for myself. So right here on the homepage here, we can see their pricing model. Free federal return for everyone. State return $9.95. So that kind of reminds me of FreeTaxUSA, right? FreeTaxUSA, the interface was actually better than I expected it to be. I wouldn't use it for very simple returns, because very simple returns you could do for free in TurboTax, right? But for FreeTaxUSA, you'd still have to pay for the state. What is FreeTaxUSA cost right now? Let's see. State $14.99. Okay, so OLT is a little bit cheaper. You save about $5 over FreeTaxUSA. But like I was saying, FreeTaxUSA, it was actually a pretty decent interface, right? If you kind of know what you're doing with your taxes, and it's cheaper if you have a more complex tax return. I would say it's a little more hand-holding than Credit Karma Tax, which is free for everything, right? Credit Karma Tax, you really have to kind of know what you need to do. But FreeTaxUSA, the interface was pretty good. I just wouldn't use it for very simple tax returns you could do for free in TurboTax, because you still have to pay for FreeTaxUSA. So it seems that OLT.com is kind of following the FreeTaxUSA pricing model. I want to see if they have like a premium version. They do. So at the premium version, you get customer support via phone and live chat. So as opposed to just email on the free edition. So I don't know. I'm assuming this is just like support with respect to the tax software itself. I'm assuming this isn't like support from an EA or a CPA or a tax preparer, right? The audit support, of course, year-over-year comparison. I don't like how they charge for that. That seems to be something that they should just throw in if you prepared your prior year return in it. Right. Okay. All forms and schedule. State return is only $9.95. All right. Let's get into this. Okay. So, website looks a little dated. Let me zoom out here. It looks a little dated here. Do they make me do this? Maybe they do. Yeah, use that strong password. And then it's got the CAPTCHA code. 672. Got headphones. If you're visually impaired, so that's cool. Kind of that, accessibility is a big thing with websites now. I'm trying to make my own blog more accessible to everybody, because that's something that a lot of website owners don't think about. All right, so this is the online taxes user agreement. So this is a little intimidating, just the font and everything here. I kind of want to see if they're trying to throw in here sharing customer information. Okay, so protecting your information. Because the other tax softwares, when you log in, oftentimes the first thing they do is try to get you to agree to allow the tax software company to share your information on your personal information that you provide them based on your tax return with third-party companies, right? Probably for a kickback. So I'm trying to see if OLT is kind of making you do that here. Okay, so they collect personal information to deliver or allow access to our products or services. Okay. As part of tax preparation services provided to you, we may collect and store personal information, assist in preparing, assist in preparing, or to obtain or provide services in connection with the preparation of your tax return. Okay, that's a little vague. Okay, here we go. Okay, there's privacy. Sometimes we ask outside firms or third parties to help us provide services, such as designing websites, setting emails, registering prospective domain name, or analyzing data. Okay, so this doesn't look like they're selling it there. Oh. Okay, here it is. We work with other companies or developers to provide you with products and services which we clearly identify. Either online taxes or the other company may offer these products and services. We clearly identify these co-branded products and services. In some cases, we exchange customer usage information to establish and provide ongoing service. By requesting these products or services, you are permitting us to provide your personal and usage information to the other company to fulfill your request. Okay, so this is kind of making it sound like that they will let you know if they're going to share your information with another product or service, and they're going to clearly identify it as such. So, if you guys are on here and you see anything more in here that's kind of, so that's good, right? It sounds like they're not going to just, you're signing it away right now. You're actually saying, okay, they're saying they'll let you know, right? And you have to agree to it at that moment. If I didn't read that right, let me know. Here's like questions here. These are going to be blanked out, obviously, just like the other stuff. I don't know how to spell her name. All right. Okay, so they want to do the verification code thing. Okay. No, I don't want Google Authenticator. No, I don't want a PIN either. Okay. All right. Everyone must complete the federal interview section, even if you will only file your state return. Complete the state interview section if you plan to file your state income tax return. Oh, okay. We do not allow e-file state-only returns. So this is saying that if you only are using OLT to file your state tax return, they can't e-file it. But, you know, if you're doing your federal return and your state return, as most people do, at least those that live in a state with an income tax, that shouldn't be a problem. If you filed your prior return with OLT, please be sure to indicate that in the following pages if you wish to import your prior data. Okay. Okay, so the font here is quite small. I'm going to zoom in here. What's the zoom? What's actual size? Actual size is tiny. Look at that. So I guess ding that for not having a very very readable font. I'm gonna zoom in. Okay, so now haven't filed a prior tax return with OLT. Okay, so yeah, the information input here, this is very like bare bones. Even this out down here says copyright 2018, but this looks like even older than like a 2018 website, right? So hold on, I got to get the fake tax documents I prepared for my sample returns. All right, so I got the fake W-2 here. So as you know, if you've been watching these tax software reviews, I got Jimmy Dean with his fake social of 777-665544. Jimmy Dean, date of birth. I think I usually do January 1st. 2020, of course. No, 1976. Sausage maker. I'm not saying that you can't file a tax return if you're born in 2020. I mean, you know, if you're a baby model or something, you make more than the standard deduction. Yeah. All right, 501 Wilcox Avenue. So no offense to you if you were born in 2020. Zip code 90004. Okay, it auto-populates the city and state. It's a nice little touch. All right, start your 2020 return. Okay. Okay. So other tax softwares don't do this. They don't ask you what form you want to file, but they do here. But at least they explain it, right? I mean, obviously we're going to do this for Jimmy. It's like if you're a like if you're going to file a 1040 NR, if you're trying to amend your return, right, 1040X, right, and if this is the return you're supposed to file. So I hit save and continue. All right, and here we have the upsell. Let me move me down here. Okay, so just like many other tax softwares, they're trying to upsell you right off the bat. So you can either do the free edition for $9.95, or you can do the premium edition for, I guess, what is that, about, let's just say $10, or you can do the premium edition for $16, right, assuming you're filing a state return, because they're reducing the state return price if you do premium. So for an extra $6, you can get premium. I mean, that's pretty cheap, right? Like, but what are you really getting? You're getting customer support via phone and live chat. That's just, I'm fairly confident this isn't like tax advice or tax information. This is just, hey, the software isn't working. Audit support, okay, but I mean, simple tax return, you probably don't need that. Year-over-year comparison, discounted state pricing, we've already talked about that. So, we're not going to do that here, obviously, because this is a fake return. Okay, so I'm going to hit continue. There's like a navigation here on the left. Yeah, it is. Why are these lines popping up? Maybe as we go through the return, I'll know. Like, see these are like black lines that kind of pop up there when I click it? And then we can put them on all of them. I don't know. I can kind of see, like, the user interface here. It's a little weird. It's a little confusing. Anyway, getting around OLT. Use the Where Do I Enter button to find where to enter a form you have. Click on Useful Information to see helpful tax information. This isn't... Oh, okay. I guess you can't click this one, but if you're on your tax return and you want more information about maybe that line item on the tax return, you can click Useful Information. Where do I enter? Okay. Yeah. Okay, so it's pretty easy to... I like how you... Okay, again, you can't actually click these buttons here, I suppose. These are just telling you the buttons to look for as you do your taxes. Navigation is easy. Use the menu on the left of the page to check your progress or jump to areas you have already been to. So that's just a big... But it doesn't really take us places. Okay, I guess save and continue return. Okay. I don't want to do any of this. Please enter a valid... I already gave you my phone number. Alright. Okay, so they got all the general information, social security number, identity protection pin, that's if the IRS will send you one right in the mail. Did you receive a Form 1095? I'm going to say no. Was the taxpayer blind? No. Disabled? No. Deceased? No. Armed forces? No. Student? No. They have a valid social security number? Yes. Is the taxpayer a qualifying child? No. So right off the bat here, it's like... It just doesn't feel as nice, as like other tax return softwares, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a bunch of like black and white questions. All right, address, boom, boom, boom. Resident of California, not in a combat zone, don't want Spanish version. And by the way, this is all fake information. Okay, when you do your tax return, you're going to input the information from your tax documents. Okay. All right, so filing status question. Help me decide. Oh. This is nice. This is real nice. They don't even have like an in-software interface to help you determine your filing status. They just link you to the IRS website to determine your filing status. That's great. It just feels cheap. But I mean, you probably know, right? I mean, this guy, if you see my other tax software reviews, he, we're saying he has a daughter who lives with him all year, and, he obviously supports her because she's like 10 years old. So I'm going to say head of household qualifying dependent. I think every other tax software, they had like some kind of navigator tool, like within the software itself, where you can, figure out your filing status if you're not sure. But unfortunately, OLT does no such thing. Were you married? No. Cryptocurrency question? No. Do you want to say a preference to receive written communications from IRS in a language other than English? No. All right. Do you have a dependent? Yes. Okay. What is her fake social security number? See if they take that. Daughter. I'm going to say she was born on New Year's Day 2010. No identity protection pin. She did not receive a 1095A healthcare marketplace statement. Yes, dependent lived with Jimmy all year. Dependent was not deceased. Number of months dependent lived with you, 12. Do you wish to claim this dependent for child tax credit? Yes. It's interesting. Like, I guess if, you had like an arrangement with the other parent to like alternate the who gets to claim the child from year to year, maybe alternate. But this is like asking it, do you wish to claim this dependent? Like, yes, of course. I feel the other tax softwares, they approach this a little more intelligently. Like, they ask, hey, do you have an arrangement in place whereby, you alternate who gets to claim the child from year to year? Anyway, dependent is not permanently and totally disabled. Claim this person for earned income credit? Sure. U.S. citizen? Yes. Do you want to claim this person as dependent? Yes. Is dependent a student? And by this, they mean college student, right? Yeah. But, well, I mean, it doesn't really matter, but like you could say yes because they're in school. Was this dependent presumed by law enforcement authorities have been kidnapped? No. Is it dependent filing joint return? No. You want to mark this dependent as a qualifying dependent? Yes. Again, I feel they don't really do a great job of explaining things in here. It's just kind of like, and it's just like a list of all the questions on the tax return. You just got to like figure it out. Can another person claim this dependent as a qualifying child? I'm going to say no. Yes, they have a valid social security number. Yes, they lived with you in the United States for more than half of 2020. We kind of already answered that question previously, right? As a combination of two questions. Do you have another dependent? No. Yes, paid over half that dependent support. Okay, so this is the form you fill out, right? If there's like if you're the non-custodial parent. So basically this form is used like if a parent that has custody of a child, for whatever reason is going to, relinquish their claim to claim that child for that year, they can use this form, to do that. But in this case, Jimmy is the custodial parent, so he's going to claim his daughter, so we don't even have to mess with this. So do you need to fill out form 8332? No. Someone can claim you as a dependent. I don't like this. It's like, I mean, if I didn't know anything about taxes, I might think that maybe this tax software figured out that someone claimed me as a dependent. Oh no. So that's kind of a bad choice of words. Can you be claimed as a dependent? No. Oh my gosh. Driver's license. I'm just going to say no. Right. I mean, certain states, they actually require you to supply driver's license information, but obviously this is a fake individual who does not have a driver's license because he's fake. So, answering that, no. Okay. You just review all this, save and continue. Okay, look at these icons here. These not branded at all. I think they just, and these aren't even like in the same, I don't think these are even in the same like, these are like stock icons, right? You can go to like an icon site and buy like a, any icon you can think of for like really cheap. So that's obviously what they did. Okay, at least it's pretty easy to kind of see all the incomes here. So we're gonna start with the W-2. Okay, so you pick all the ones, right? So for this guy, I got W-2, we got a 1099 interest. What about stocks? Okay, that's under investment income. 1099 interest, 1099 dividend, 1099B. Where's unemployment? I don't see unemployment here, so I'm assuming they're putting that under other miscellaneous income. All right, we got to add a new W-2. Even this input is kind of like, it's kind of overwhelming with like the 2-column thing, and it's all like here. Anyway, okay, let's go to Jimmy's fake W-2 and start putting this information in. Okay, employee ID number 9999s. All right, company name, big company, 633 West 5th Street. Zip code 90071. Okay, here's all the employees, address information. Obviously, we already input that in. All right, now we just input the amounts from the W-2. Oh no, here. Now we just input the amounts from the W-2. All right, so wages, tip center compensation, 83867.54. Federal income tax withheld, 7200580. Social Security wages, 83998.79. Social Security tax withheld, 5207.92. Oh, automatically calculated it. Medicare wages and tips, 8398.79, 1217.98. Yep, Medicare tax withheld. So this is just a percentage, right? Like, it's just simple math. And actually, I think OLT is the first one that actually like automatically calculates these for you. Obviously, if you were over withheld or under withheld on these amounts, then you would input what's actually on your W-2. So maybe that's why the tax softwares don't do that, the other ones, because they don't want you to think that, oh, well, the tax software calculated such and such amount, I don't have to input it, right? Because, I mean, let's say I changed all these, right? Okay, let's say I left these blank. Let's see here. Okay, starting from scratch. Maybe it just does it the first time. But if you go back and watch it again, you'll notice that when I input like these amounts the first time, like it automatically populated amounts in Social Security wages and Medicare wages. 7.98. Okay. All right. So nothing in 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now I go to box 12, and we're going to do code C. 417.49. Then we got code D for the 401k. That's 131.25. Then we got code double D. All right, that's all for box 12. Box 13 information, no retirements. Box 14 information, CA STI 35.91. Okay, so they actually make this pretty easy. Okay. Then box 15 information is just the state, the company's state ID number, the state wages for that state, the state income tax withheld. So I'm going to input all this really quickly here. Okay, save and continue. All right, done with W-2 category, save and continue return. Why is there not an input here? Oh, it's probably because on that first screen I didn't say like, oh, I contributed to a IRA, right? Was there an icon for that? I think there was. But obviously if you did, you would select that icon on that previous screen. No self-employed retirement plan contributions because he's not self-employed. No distributions from 1099R. No. Okay. All right, so now let's start do it as interest. So we're done with the W-2. Going to close out the W-2, but we're going to do this interest income here. Start taxable interest. I don't like how the default is done. The default should be at 1, right? Okay. All right. Taxable interest. Payers details. Big bank. I made up this bank, 633 West 34th Street, New York, New York. Payers tax identification number 11111111. Completely fake, of course. All right, so interest income, very simple, $100 right there. Zoom in a bit so I can make this easier to see. And that's it. Okay. All right, it didn't like the fake EIN. Let's see if it likes this one better. All right, done with 1099 interest. Easy enough. Did you have a financial interest in or signatory authority or a financial account located in a foreign country? I'm going to say no for Jimmy. Did you receive a distribution from, or were you the grantor of, or transferred to a foreign trust? I'm going to say no for Jimmy. All right, so we're done with interest. Now let's move on to this stock sales. So if you have a stock account, brokerage account, they will send you a package, a little PDF, usually these days, or maybe something in the mail. Shortly after the beginning of the year, January, February, sometimes March. And it basically shows you your 1099 for dividends. That's this 1099 form, 1099 div. Also your 1099B, which shows your, your realized gain and loss and your proceeds on any stocks you sold during the year. So let's input this stuff. All right, dividends. Start. Add a new 1099 dividend. All right, payers details. In this case, it's Apex Clearing. Payers address and zip code. It's all right here. Zip code 75201. All right, payers TIN, tax identification number. Okay, now we're just going to input all of the amounts here from this 1099 dividend. If you've seen my video on how dividends are taxed, you know what all of these mean. If not, be sure you watch that video. Okay, these are all going to round down, so they're, it's silly to input them, but I'm going to do it anyway. Foreign tax paid. Interesting. They don't have a drop down here, so I guess you got to type out various. All right, exempt interest dividends, 36 cents. All right, and I think that's all. Why should I say Jimmy Dia? Do they really cut it off like that? Really? That's another kind of silly thing, right? Anyway, all right. Save and continue. Okay, 1099B. Now, when you input stock transactions into tax return software, well, first of all, many places, well, not many places. I know TurboTax, you can import them automatically. Or, if you like Pain, you can input each one of these transactions one by one. There's actually not a lot for this one. I mean, some people who are, do a lot of stack transactions during the year, pages and pages. But you could input, in the software here, hey, I sold this stock, it looks like an ETF on October 30th. I bought it on October 9th. I sold it for $24.70 and I bought it for $24.53, right? And so on and so forth. You could do that if you want. Or, and this is what I like to do, because it's the easy, lazy way. I just input in tax return preparation softwares the total amounts for each box. So let's do that now. Capital gain or loss, Schedule D, right? Here's another area where I wish they would have made it a little more user-friendly. Obviously, I know most of you out there know what capital gains are, but let's say you don't. Let's say you're just getting into stocks for the first time. You don't know. I kind of wish they would have just asked, hey, did you buy or sell stocks during the year, right? And then led you on from there. Instead of, you having to have this kind of little bit of knowledge here. Okay, state, California, what do you want to do next? Add a new transaction from a 1099B. That's what we're doing, right? It's a 1099B. All right. 1099S, that's for like real estate. So we're assuming Jimmy didn't sell any real estate this year, so we're just going to do 1099B for his stonks. All right. Here we go. Really? I have to put in the payer? I don't like that. Didn't I already put in the payer before? Hold on. I already put in. Oh, I guess that was for the dividend, huh? All right. Okay, so I guess I got to input this stuff again. You usually don't have to do this. I think this is the only tax software where I've seen you have to do this with the capital gains and losses. The address. So annoying. All right. Description of property. I'm just going to say this is Wealth Simple Box A. I'm just going to say what I often do is I'll just say it was, acquired and sold in the same year, right? So this is short term. Because right now we're doing short term, right? Proceeds, $128.43. Cost basis, $126.87. You're technically supposed to attach your all your gain loss statements if you just do a summary. But I've never had a problem just doing it this way. Okay, so no wash sale or anything. So realized gain or loss is $1.56. Great. Select any of the following options. Well, they should know it's short term from this, right? Bought and sold in the same calendar year. No income tax withheld. I'm kind of wondering, where do you put the box? Like, oh. No, that's not it. Where do I put box A? Huh? Like usually in all tax softwares, you'll say like what box it is, like box A or B or D or E. But I don't see where I can put that here. I would think it might be under code, but it's not. I guess it'll know by this question. Oh, I guess you gotta like check this. Basis reported to IRS. Good, right? Basis reported to IRS. And it'll know it's box A because it's short term. Okay. Yeah, you want it on that form A9409. That was a little confusing. Well, here they got his full name. Okay, we gotta do the other one for the long term now. Save and continue. Add a new transaction for before 1099B. Here's details. Okay, so now at least we can select it. So now this is going to be Wealthsimple box D, right? Because all these other boxes, they're zero amounts there, so I don't have to input them. But for this one, we're doing Wealthsimple box D. So I can put Wealthsimple box D. And for date acquired, I often just put like, you know, it was acquired on January 1st of the previous year, and it was sold on, you know, December 31st of this year. Not this year, because I'm doing this in 2021, but this year as in this tax year that we're preparing the tax return for. Proceeds $163.89. Cost for other basis $154.20. Okay. Long term, that's right. Okay, so that looks right. Save and continue return. Now what about, okay, done with investment income. Let's do, okay, so let's view the return right now. Okay. Why is there nothing on here? What? Why is there nothing? It's annoying. I don't know. It's annoying. I thought you could kind of check your stuff as you go, but why isn't it automatic? Why isn't it like calculating the refund here as you go, like other tax softwares do? All right, unemployment compensation. Let's do it. All right, this is completely fake information. I just want to see if it's going to do the 10,200 correctly. Fake street. Let's say you got $10,000, right? So all of that should be tax-free to Jimmy because it's under the $10,200 excluded amount, thanks to the recent stimulus bill. Valid state abbreviation. Okay. I don't know. I hope they're happy. Ah, the EIN, right? Where's the fake EIN? Oh, there. Let's see if they take that. All right. Very good. I mean, I can't really check to see if they're doing it correctly because I can't even see the return right now. There's no repayment of unemployment compensation. All right. We're going to say that's all the stuff that Jimmy has. Yeah. Basically interest expense deduction. All right. So now it's calculating it. So I guess at the very end it calculates it. So let's take a little look-see here. All right, so it looks all updated to me. They did not ask about the recovery rebate credit yet. So that's something we still gotta, I'm sure they'll ask us about that next. Oh yeah, because we're not really done yet. We just did the income. Yeah, and they did the unemployment properly, right? Let's take a look. Yeah, they 10,000. They backed it out with UCE on the dotted line next to line 8. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. Okay, done with income summary. All right, so we're assuming that Jimmy does not itemize his deductions, but he can take that $300 charitable deduction because he gave money to charity, and up to $300. So I'm gonna say he gave $1,000 to charity. Should limit it to $300. And that it did. All right. Well, these are all itemized deductions. See, this is like a little confusing. because you just told the software you made a donation to a charitable cause, but this is looking for the itemized deduction, but you don't itemize. I think they could do a better job making this a little bit more user-friendly for the someone who doesn't know a lot about taxes. Okay, so I'm just going to say I want to choose a standard deduction. Are you a resident of Puerto Rico? No. There are significant tax benefits for being a bona fide resident of Puerto Rico, of course, because income derived from Puerto Rico sources is not subject to United States federal income tax. Okay. Which of these credits applied to you? I mean, they should know the child tax credit applies, right? You shouldn't have to make the man answer that. What's up with that? Okay. Child tax credit, $2,000. That's what we want to see. All right, your credit summary. There you go. Where's the recovery rebate credit? I don't see it. He makes too much for an income credit. Doesn't need that. Where's the recovery rebate credit? There it is. I mean, I wish I would have made this more prominent. I mean, which one did I review the other day? I think it was FreeTaxUSA. Was it that one? Or maybe Jackson Hewitt, where they asked you right off the bat. So I wish that they would have made this mandatory instead of you having to find it. So I'm going to say no, didn't receive the full stimulus. So I'm going to say for stimulus 1, he only received the $1,200 for himself, not the $500 for his daughter. And for stimulus 2, I'm saying that he only received $600 for himself, not $600 for his daughter. So now let's see if it's on there. Okay. All looks correct. There's a 300 minus 2,000. And there's a recovery rebate credit. 1,100 is the correct amount, because in total you should have received for stimulus 1, you should have received 1,700. For stimulus 2, you should have received 1,200. Right, so 2,900 total. But he only received 1,800. Right, 1,200 for 1, 600 for 2. The difference between 2,900 and 1,800 is 1,100. That's his recovery rebate credit. So his tax return looks good to me. Federal tax return. It was a little tricky to get there, but it calculates it correctly. And see, like, here's like another thing where it's like, who's going to go through all these forms, right? Like, I wish they would just kind of ask questions and not have to make the taxpayer depend on themselves to know whether or not they should file their forms. I think some people who really want to be super cautious, they might go through every single one of these and waste their time. So, I mean, if you know what your tax return, what forms you need, you know, okay, obviously, you know, you don't need all these, but for someone who's completely like new to taxes, this is just overwhelming. My goodness. Were you previously reduced or disallowed child tax credit in a prior year and want to reclaim child tax credit? No. Lord, that's even more. No, same ones. All right. Kind of like this, actually. Okay. They ask you if you want to apply any of your refund to next year's taxes. Most people do not want that. They want the money today. All right, so direct deposit, right? Typically safest thing to do. Okay, so it looks like it's not even letting me go to the state return without putting in banking information. Can I do this later? You know what I'm going to do, actually? I'm going to say just receive a paper check, right? I wouldn't want you to do this, like direct deposits at, you know, obviously, my opinion, a superior option. But just so I can get through that state return, I'm going to say I just want to receive a paper check. Because it looks like if I want to do direct deposit here at the end of the federal return, it's not going to let me go past that screen unless I input actual direct deposit information, which I'm obviously not going to do because this is a fake tax return. All right, come on. What's going on here? Processing. I didn't log out. What did I put? What is his social security number? 5544. All right, continue where I left off. All right. There we go. Back in business. Receive a paper check. All right, now we can move on to California. It's just all like very confusing. Okay. Do not want estimated tax payment vouchers. He's covered through his withholding at his job. Okay, so now you can review them. Whoa, state. Hey there. Okay, I gotta hand it to OLT. I mean, they made the state really easy, right? Like a lot of other tax return softwares, even though there's not, for this particular taxpayer, this fake scenario, there's nothing to really input on the state return. It's all just pulling from the federal return. It still makes you go through all these screens for state, like head of household and all this stuff. So probably the one thing where OLT really shines here is it lets you zip right on through the states. But wait, it says, please proceed the software to go through the detailed state return. Okay, all right. Maybe not. I'm going to say I'm not going to e-file because it'll want me to e-file. Here's one more upsell. I'm going to say I want to continue for free. Okay. Yeah, let's go to the state return. We never did that. All right, so if I take it back, they don't make the state return super easy. You still got to go through all these questions. I'm not going to dwell on this here, but because not everyone here is watching from California. But one thing that's a little annoying here is making you figure out your own California adjustments. Now, this guy doesn't have any adjustments for state income tax purposes, right? But for example, let's say that you live in a state that's going to tax the $10,200. You would kind of have to know that, I assume, and kind of make your own addition here yourself for that amount instead of OLT kind of walking you through the thing. More income adjustments. Did you have minimal essential coverage? I'm going to say yes. All months. It's not through the state marketplace. Yes. All months. Not through the marketplace. No. No, she's not required to file her own tax return. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so. Now, one thing I will note about itemized deductions, right? I didn't even bother inputting itemized deductions into Jimmy's federal return because I knew he was going to take the standard deduction. However, many states have a standard deduction or have a standard deduction amount that's a lot lower than the federal standard deduction amount, right? So in those cases, although your itemized deductions might not exceed your federal standard deduction, they may, at least the ones eligible for state tax purposes, exceed your state standard deduction. So sometimes it makes sense to input your itemized deductions into your tax software program, even if you don't itemize for federal income tax purposes, because it might help you on your state. But I'm going to assume that none of this applies because I just want to be done with this. All right. Obviously, you would read these in more detail. Goodness. All right. Okay. At this point, it's just basically, here's the California summary. That's cool. All right, so I think at this point, okay, here's the how to household verification. All right, so I think at this point, I'm done with OLT. The next step here would basically be to file both returns, right? But I told him I'm paper filing. You would obviously do e-filing because that's better, right? But yeah. I guess my question is, where do you pay OLT? When do you pay OLT? Right? Because I saw the PDFs there. Wait, what? Oh, but they only charge for the state, right? Okay, so here's where you pay. All right, yeah, I'm going to stop it here because I'm obviously not going to pay for a fake tax return. All right, so what can we say about OLT.com? Online taxes, OLT.com. Pros and cons. Well, the pro is that it's pretty dang cheap. $0 Fed, $9.95 states. Even if you have a very complicated return. I obviously didn't do a complicated return in OLT. So it's very inexpensive, right? Even for complex returns. What other pros? Can't really think of any. Con number one. Now onto the cons. The user interface is severely lacking. It's probably the least user-friendly user interface I've seen from a tax return preparation software I have reviewed thus far. This doesn't mean it's inaccurate. This doesn't mean anything like that. It got to the right answers on the tax returns. It's just not the most user-friendly thing. Now, if you're okay with that, you know exactly what your tax return is supposed to look like. Okay, great. I mean, in this general price range, though, I would probably still go with FreeTaxUSA, right? Because with OLT, it shows you all the forms. You don't know. You go through all those forms. It doesn't really hold your hand at all through the process. Con number two, pretty aggressive with those upsells. Like there's one at the beginning, one at the end. But that being said, it's not like the most expensive upsell in the world. It's like, what, a $6 upsell? But you don't really get a lot with it. You just get better customer support and audit support. It's not a lot. And I think the last con, and I mean, this is kind of related to the user interface issue, but it's just kind of dated. It just feels kind of old. Like it's not really, the latest and greatest. So, I don't think I'd recommend OLT.com, to be completely honest with you. Like, it gets the job done, don't get me wrong. But, I mean, there are definitely more intuitive, more user-friendly options for roughly the same price point. Like FreeTaxUSA. I would also say that Credit Karma Tax, which is completely free, federal and state, provides a better user experience than this. Okay. Yeah, so I don't think I'd recommend OLT.com at all, right? Given that Credit Karma Tax exists. The only reason I would recommend OLT.com over FreeTaxUSA is if you really, really, really want to save the $5. But kind of when you compare OLT.com to Credit Karma Tax wins. So, sorry, OLT Tax. I don't think I can recommend you. But that's just my 2 cents. Feel free to disagree. If you love OLT.com, tax return preparation software, let me know in the comments below. Also, on the screen that follows, you will see links to 2 other tax videos. One's a tax software review. The other is just a tax video I just made for the heck of it. So, see you over in those videos.